Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very big welcome to ICT712. Today, I'm going to go and start talking about a totally different concept of what we've already spoke about earlier. So we're going to go and be talking about chapters 1 and 2 of the agile project management sort of concept. And this agile project management is really 50% of what you guys will need to go and be doing as part of your assignments. If I was to go and look for a second about the work that needs to go and be conducted, what you'll notice is we have this group assignment, and that group assignment have talks about specifically, this is the current one, T2. It talks specifically about a number of questions you need to be answered as part of the assessment 3. And I want to basically tell you that assessment is very, very important, because that assessment is really worth 40% of your marks. So, if we go and think about, people who've actually done the midterm exam, the majority of people did pass the midterm exam. In this instance, people who haven't been attending the class failed, which is what I've been communicating from day one. Unfortunately, I had someone who got 0/15 on that midterm exam. And I had another mark that was also under the average. So this is basically a direct relationship. There is a direct relationship between not attending my classes, not learning the calculations, and not getting a good mark on your exam. So it's basically a lesson now for some, but it's also a good outcome for many who basically went and followed my instructions in terms of learning that what you need to do is attend my classes and learn my calculations to be able to ensure you are able to go and answer your final exam and your midterm exam and all of these questions that I am going to go and ask you. So we have now a very, very important assignment, and we have a final exam. The final exam will have calculations, including some of those calculations you've covered in the midterm exam, probably on a more expanded level. But also there probably will be more calculations, which is I'm going to be covering those in the weeks to come. So it's very, very important you keep on joining my class, because for anyone who didn't do well, I need you to make sure you're going to be very, very focused in terms of the midterm exam now, because that focus on the midterm exam, and not that focus, sorry, on the group assignment, because that focus on the group assignment will help you to potentially get a good mark on that assignment. And then from there, it will give you the foundation to be able to go and do well in the final exam and pass the subject. But we need to work a lot in that assessment, group assignment, which is works, 40%, is have a number of components. But if I was to take you to the questions, I want you to see here, use agile project management, use PIM book phases. PIM book phases is everything I've been teaching you between weeks 1 and week 6. Creating work break structure, creating a budget, scheduling resources, all of these things, what I've been covering from the beginning between weeks 1 and week 6. And I've been telling you for many weeks to ensure you start working on that, because otherwise you're going to make working on this group assignment much more harder. Now, if anyone haven't started yet, you are already delayed, but you better start now. Like, you don't have a lot of time to be able to go and do the rest. But then you have the agile project management, which is what I'm going to be covering from this week. And this is basically the second half of your assignment. And I will be having a number of activities during the session, which will, technically speaking, be trying to go and enable you to go and start building the foundational blocks that are needed to be able to do well as part of this agile project management assignment. So it's very important you and your team members, and I mean everyone, are attending the classes, all of them, because I will be explaining concepts, I will be giving you activities, and you will need to be able to be doing these activities well in order for you to be able to go and really do well in that group assignment. Otherwise, you're going to struggle very badly in that, and doing that would mean that you will most likely going to find it very difficult to pass the subject. So we want to avoid all of this outcome. We want to get you to where you need to be. Now, first question, second question about agile. And then there's a comparison between PIM book and agile. Okay, specifically to PIM book and to agile methodology features, and you need again to make sure you know those concepts very well to be able to use them. And finally, there's some information question about ethics, and I want to tell everyone here that this question that I cover in here in your assignment, the reason why your assignment is important, because many of the questions that I go and ask in the final exam might have questions similar to what's in the assignment. Why? Because the learning outcome I need to demonstrate for the group assignment are the same learning outcomes I need to demonstrate for the final exam. So it is basically an alignment between the sort of things you need to show me you know. And that's why you might find some questions in the final exam are related to your group assignment. That's an extra reason why looking at your group assignment in details and doing the work in details is going to go and be very important, very beneficial for you. So please pay a lot of attention to that. And I remind you again that if your team members are not here today, please send them a message to really reiterate the importance of them joining, because they need to be working with your group to be able to do those tasks relating to that group assignment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's start talking about these topics in details. Today, I'm going to start talking about the first chapter and the second chapter relating to Agile. The first one is about, Agile project management, managing for success. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and introduce to you the concept of Agile. We're going to talk about the Agile Manifesto. What does that manifesto really means? We're going to talk about the Agile principles of Agile Manifesto. And if I was to go and say something, the Agile Manifesto and the principles are very, very important topics that are relating to Agile project management. So it's something that I really recommend you really know in details every single principle and every single part of the manifesto. Understand what does that mean, because that will make a difference in terms of your ability to go and get a proper outcomes. We're going to also talk about Agile and how it is different than any other concepts of project management. Now, ladies and gentlemen, project management using the traditional way and project management using Agile are not really the same thing. They are actually different, and not simply they are different, they're actually very, very different. The way we work on doing what needs to go and be done is different. The approach, the way we plan, the way we accept the features, the way we interact with the customers. Really, there's a lot of things about what we do is actually different from what we do in traditional project management. So it's really about really understanding all of those differences and applying all of those differences as part of the work that you go and actually do. Now, Agile, traditional project management is meant to be much more much more kind of streamlined, much more standardized, much more formal sort of way of project management. But when I talk about Agile, we're talking in a different manner. We're talking about an informal way for us to be able to go and really operate. We need to go and really act in an informal manner. It is really an approach to delivering projects very, very successfully, but the way we do it is different. It's more about engagement, open collaboration. It's more about speaking to the customers all the time. It's basically a totally brand new concept of how we need to go and really get things done at any point of time. So it's really about how we're going to go and learn about getting the job done. Now, at the same time, it is different, in terms of the time and effort. We need to emphasize on so many important things. We need to emphasize in Agile project management on how do we actually be flexible. This is really different from the concept of the traditional project management, because the traditional project management is more about traditional is more about having a scope that is very clear, very specific. We know exactly what we are actually delivering because that requirement is basically has been already stipulated. We spoke to the client, we asked them what they want, we wrote all the requirements, we showed it to the customer, we got their signatures to that. So it's much more traditional way in the sense of how we go and get things officially approved before we go. But in agile project management, we talk differently. We talk about how are we going to become more flexible to be able to meet more of the needs of our clients at any particular point of time. So it's about flexibility. It's about communicating with people across various periods of time, ensuring we we are aware of what they want, ensuring that we are close to them, ensuring that we know if their requirements are changing. We are remaining aware of those changes, ensuring we show them what we are delivering at any point of time, ensuring we show them the progress we are delivering as we actually work through things. And that's all about really transparency. So we're going to work in a transparent manner. They need to know what we're doing. They need to know how we're progressing to be able to ensure we're getting the outcomes that are needed to be delivered in an appropriate manner. So that flexibility, that's communication, that's transparency. It exists between team members, between the team and management, and even when we are dealing with people who basically requested this work, all of our clients, we want to make sure we show them we are going to be engaging in a particular appropriate manner. So there's all of these way of us operating and working that is really need to go and be taken into context in terms of delivering the agile project management. Now, I want to give you this particular small activity. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to put you in groups from now, like from the beginning. I'm going to put you in a groups because I want you to go and have this discussion. At the same time, the reason I want to put you in groups because I want to see who's not here so that I am going to be able to go and follow up with them and try to get them to come to the classroom. But everything I'm doing today is going to go and be, specific foundational components that you will be able to go and incorporate as part of your group assignment. So it's very important you guys will go and really apply everything that I'm telling you in the tutorial and make sure you continue building from the tutorial to be able to work on a task that I would like you to go and work on. So just give me I'm going to open the breakout rooms now, and I am going to pause my recording. So ladies and gentlemen, I went and put you in a breakout room to go and answer a number of questions, and these are important questions for us to be able to go and bear in mind. So I'm going to ask you now this question. What is a product backlog, guys? What did you come up with? Let's each group come and maybe tell me. What did you come up with? What's a backlog?
It is a list of works like changes and features that will be prioritized in the basis of what needs to be delivered first in a project, so that all the team members will know intensely by looking into the list of the works.
Okay, so it's work that is actually prioritized that we need to go and work on. Thank you very much, Neeraj. I really appreciate your answer. Anyone else would like to add?
Well, we came up with basically the same answer.
Same answer. All right. So basically, we are coming and talking about an environment where we need to go and list the work that we need to be able to go and be completing. That work needs to go and be in terms of a priority. Why would we need to put work in terms of priority? Why it needs to be a priority?
Probably because we need this task to be done before starting another task or something like that.
Who decide that priority?
Nature of tasks.
Yeah, but who decides it? Who decide what is the order of that priority?
The project manager.
The project manager. Any other answers?
The client.
The client. Why is the client and not the project manager?
Because there is a communication involved and we get feedback from our clients.
Yep.
So we change the requirements. So then project manager has to shuffle the tasks, what to prioritize first.
Correct. In Agile project management, that's exactly what we're doing. In Agile project management, we're doing exactly what the client really needs at any particular point of time. So the way that Agile project management and traditional project management works is this way. Imagine that's a bottle of water and imagine that's your project. In traditional project management, you will come before you start building that bottle. You'll say, I want a bottle. And then you will only come and check that bottle was being delivered at the end. So after the whole period is finished, you go and confirm that that bottle has actually been delivered. So there's no much interaction, there's no much prioritization, because that whole thing needs to be delivered as one piece to the client at the end, and only then we'll go and check and show him the work that we've done. But in agile project management, it's different. You know, if that is a project, that project will be delivered into pieces. Okay, and depending on which piece is a priority for the client, that's when we go and decide what are we going to be doing first and what are we going to be doing after. It's a client that tells us what is the priority, what needs to come first and what needs to come next. And based on that, we'll be able to decide which parts we are going to be doing well. And why is that important? Because in agile project management, you will deliver working products to the customers, throughout various periods, which means that if they tell you that's a priority, that means you're going to deliver something already working with them, and they can share it, with their clients very early on. And that's why we need to give them the features that they know their clients are going to be needing. That's different from traditional project management, where they say, no, I need to deliver the whole thing at once to the client, not deliver some things now and some things later. So the way they go and operate is totally different. And the backlog is basically different in a traditional project management, that we need to go and really understand those priorities very, very early on. Now, if I was to go and really refer you to one thing here, I will refer to your assignment, which says, one question of the assignment is here, compare two tipping book and two agile project management features. We just really compared one of them. I just went and gave you some example about, the backlog and how there are differences in terms of how we go and operate. What is a sprint?
It's a it's a time box period, for the completion set amount of work.
Okay, so it's a time box period to finish a set of work. Okay, who would like to add anything?
Team together, completion of work together by the team.
Yep. Okay, so the team will have a period to go and do some work. Okay, thank you very much, mate. Who was that?
Saira.
Thank you very much, Saira. Anyone would like to add?
A sprint is a time period that will be planned according to the backlog list.
According to the backlog. So we have a sprint and we have a backlog, Niraj. How does a sprint relate to the backlog?
No, the backlog will have the set of tasks. So sprint is a time period that is going to take on that certain task.
Okay, so sprint is going.
I might be wrong.
So what you're saying is sprint is going to take on the tasks that are listed on the product backlog. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, something like that. Yeah.
All right, no worries, mate. Thank you very much. Who would like to add? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think?
Yeah, I basically my understanding of sprints the same that Niraj.
Okay, excellent. Guys, the reason why you create a backlog priority is that you know which features are important for the client and needs to be delivered first. And then the sprint comes, and what the sprint needs to go and do, it needs to go and pick up the items that are the most important priority for the client. So the sprint, which is the work that the client, the work that the Scrum team is going to work on delivering, needs to go and be aligning with what the client would like us to go and deliver at that particular point of time. So we need to go and ensuring that our team, which is the Scrum team or the sprint team or the Agile team, is going to be working on those items that are most important as part of the product backlog. How do these two concepts, backlog and sprint, how do they relate to your group assignment? How do these two concepts relate to your group assignment?
By analyzing what is the priority of the project, what we have to list out the work, what we have to done first, and then managing the time.
Yep.
So yeah. So
all right, Tracy. So basically, by going and looking at all of this work that we need to do, prioritizing it, and then look at the timelines. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Anyone else? You want to add anything? Okay. If I was to go and say one thing, we are doing the traditional project management, PMBOK, and we are doing the agile project management. What you need to do in agile project management is you need to create a backlog, you need to create sprints, to name a few. You need to know your users, to name other things. So everything we need to go and be teaching you from now on is basically relating to the application of the agile project management methodology. You need to know it into a lot of details to be able to go and apply it the way you need to go and apply it. So let's talk further about that, guys. Agile project management. This is here the initial requirements. What is that called here? What's that called? This initial requirement, what is that called? This one here is your backlog, guys. This is a backlog. This is all the features. This is the order of the priority items we need to go and work on for the client. So the client come and tell me, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. They all get added here, and they get added in the form of features of what we need to go and deliver to the client. We go and actually prioritize those features based on what the client tells us they want to go and do, and telling us what is really important. And from there, what do? We go and pick up all of these items. We go and say, all right, that's the most important priority. We're going to go and pick up that item one. We're going to start working on that item one, and the whole cycle of delivering the items is going to go on changing. So when you go and pick up an item you would like to go and work on, or a feature you would like to work on, it then follow a number of processes, which what we call the iteration: planning, designing, developing, testing, evaluating. And we continue with that process, one time after the other. And then eventually what we go is we go and deploy the features. So we go and deploy them. And when I say deploy them, it's about really going and releasing that particular work that we've done to the clients that we need to go and deliver for them. So this iteration could be part of what we call a sprint. The sprint is iteration which usually between 2 and 4 weeks, during which we need to be working on a particular feature, and that particular feature needs to be based on what is in the product backlog, that is organized in the order of priority of what we're trying to go and do. Now, when I talk about Agile, these are the foundational information about Agile. Agile talks about these values. They are very well-known values. They are the primary values that tells us what Agile is all about. Agile is about individuals and interactions, okay, which is how important it is for us to go and interact with people in an appropriate manner, how important it is for us to be able to go and make all of these, individual working together, people working together. It's more important than having the right processes and using the right tools. Providing a software that works, something that people are able to go and use, is much more important than give me so much documentation. Customer collaboration, speaking to the customers, understand what they want and so on, and adjusting, meeting what they want really is much more important than negotiating a contract with them, and kind of make it more about the contract, not more about let's work together and collaborate based on what you need. The last one is about responding to change. So in other words, when the customer comes to you and say, I want something different, you go and respond to that. You go and support him. You go and say, no problem, I'm happy to go and help you, which is much more important than following the plan. So the plan is important, but it's much more important to not simply follow the plan and deliver something the customer does not want, but simply it's much important to go and respond to change and give the customer exactly what they want us to go and really deliver. So these various items are very, very important for us to be able to go and bear in mind. Now, that doesn't mean that only the items on the left are important. It simply means that the items on the left are actually more important than the items that are on the right. And that's really the main point I would like to go and make. They're all important. Processes and tools are important. Documentation is important. Negotiations is important. Plans are important. But these things on the left are much more important than the items are on the right. Now, again, these are the foundational things. Very, very important to know about the values of Agile. And it's also very important to know about the principles of Agile. 12 very important principles. These are the foundation of everything we talk about in terms of Agile project management. What are they? The most important thing is satisfying the customer. To satisfy the customer, I need to welcome change. To welcome change also, we need to go and not simply welcome, but also deliver to the customer things frequently. And when I talk frequently, it could be between 2 weeks and 4 weeks. We could deliver something to the customer if we want to. This is what we call the duration of your sprint. It's very important to collaborate daily. And when I say collaboration, team members collaborating together, but also collaborating with the client, collaborating with the customer, and with our team members to be able to ensure we're delivering what is really needed. To be able to get the job done, you need to have support and trust. Who am I going to support? I'm going to support motivated teams, and I'm going to also trust them. I employ smart people so that I can trust they are able to go and get the job done. I don't employ smart people and tell them what to do. Steve Jobs said, there's no point for me to go and employ smart people and tell them what to do. We want them to go and really know what they need to do. We need to trust them in doing what is needed to go and really be done. It's about face-to-face conversations. Don't kind of hide in internet and all of these. Let's have face-to-face conversation whenever we can with the various people. Let's deliver software that actually works. If something have an issue with it, then it hasn't been tested appropriately. Why am I going to go and work on delivering something that does not really add the value to my customer? Let's go and think about delivering exactly what the customer really goes and needs. Let's go and promote sustainable pace. And that's why in Agile, it's like every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks, you basically have the circle, the same process over and over and over again. And because we're basically giving people the freedom to go and do the things the way they believe it should be done, because we allow them to go and choose what they need to go and work on at any point of time, all of these things, are promoting the sustainability of having a sustainable base that could be repeated over and over again. We need to go and promote technical excellence. That technical excellence means, let's try to get an outcome and a code that basically, is from a technical perspective, works really well. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no bugs, there's no issues. But that also is facilitated by maximizing through simplicity. In other words, if there's a code I don't need to write, why am I going to be writing it? Let's go and avoid writing that code altogether from the beginning to be able to go and really get the outcomes we would like to go and really get. Let's have self-organized teams. In other words, they know how they need to do the job. I don't need to tell them. They are smart enough. They know very well. And they basically give them the ability and the trust, as I spoke earlier, the motivation and trust and support to be able to go and get them to go and do the job themselves. And let's just go and all the time sit down and reflect and see how we are performing. And if things are not going according to plan, let's go and create the adjustments that are needed to be able to go and deliver some possible improvements. These are all the actual principles of manifesto we need to go and really bear in mind. Now, Agile is beneficial. You create visibility, and you're gonna really see a bit later what I mean by visibility. But if I really show you now something very, very quickly. Let me just try to show where that is. Okay, if I show you that example, okay, this is a system called Trello. And that Trello system is what you guys are going to be needing as part of your assignment. And we will help you to go and create an account a bit later today. But I want to show you how Trello basically enable you to be able to go and create various stages. Like you see to do, that's really your backlog. It's all the items you need to be able to go and be creating yourself. In progress, that's the items that I'm basically currently working on. Done, these are items I've already completed. This is a project that I'm working on in terms of summarizing all of these visas, immigration visas that are available here in Australia for people who would like to go and apply for visas. And that's a project that I'm working on at the moment to be able to go and make sure that I very clearly highlight the work that needs to be done, the in-progress work that is happening, and the work that is really completed. And the same thing you need to go and be doing as part of your assignment, but you're going to do it from a software development perspective. You're going to go and have to create, a product backlog. You're going to have to go and create things to do. You're going to have to go and create sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, and for every sprint, you're going to have sprint to do, sprint in progress, sprints done, or you might be using various naming, sprint, planning, sprint development, sprint 1 testing, whatever you want to name those headings. You can actually go and name it, whatever. I can name it tests, I can name it whatever. And once I have something, I'll be able to go in, I'll be able to add members to it, I'll be able to go and add checklists, I'll be able to make labels, I'll be able to change colors. There's a lot of things that I'm actually able to go and really create here that we need to go and really bear in mind. But this is just a small example of how you can use a system that is like Trello, and everybody sees, like, if you go and look here, I know who's working on this, I know who's working on this, I know who's working on this. You can see the names. People are assigning themselves to the work that they're basically doing. I know the job that is done. It's already, again, assigned. All of this information is available there. So it's really about picking up, and that's a sort of visibility I'm talking about. People will be able to see what has been delivered. People see progress. People are getting exactly what they want, so they are happy. Working as a group is enjoyable because we're trusting and we're motivating people. Because we're giving exactly the customer what they want, we can get more revenue. Because we're doing the same process continuously, like over and over again, will create a new ways for us to be working. Well, we're going to be becoming more productive. We are getting the right quality being delivered. We are working in a fun environment. We are having a bit of fun. We are giving people the right product. We are giving, time to market much more quicker because we are actually becoming very good at the process we go and follow to be able to really go and get the jobs to go and be completed. When I talk about agile project management, what does it teach us? It teaches us it's very important to communicate. It's very important to give people responsibility. It's very important to collaborate well together, and not simply together, but also collaborate with people externally to your business and the business partners and the clients and so on. But it's also important to work as a team. So what I mean by that is in agile, you are all part of one team. So if you don't deliver something on time, it's not like one person has failed, it's the whole team that one actually had failed. So it's very important to really go and think about it as working as part of a team to be able to go and really ensure the job really goes and gets delivered. Without doing that, that is definitely going to really go and be an issue. Agile has many disadvantages. What is the disadvantages? Well, because we're not doing all of this upfront planning and upfront identification of risks, you're having a less easy identification of project risks, and poor management of resources. We don't really tell people what to do. They have to decide what's the best way to go and actually work. And we don't tell them go very much upfront to go and identify every single risk that is basically relevant. We tell them go and work there and evaluate the work accordingly when you are basically progressing. A flexible system like Agile can make it difficult to focus and push the project through the completion. If we're not careful, if we keep on allowing people to add further and further and further and further things, that's really the problem that we are going to go and be having if that basically is going to be the way we are going to be working. There's less set in stone, no process to make sure the project is continuing smoothly. We lose direction a lot of time if things keep on changing and if we keep on adding in terms of what we're trying to go and really do. Now, in Agile, we need to bear in mind what's the difference between being the boss and being the leader. In traditional project management, it's a lot of time I am being the boss. In Agile, it's more about I am being a leader. Can anybody tell me why I'm saying traditional project management is more like a boss and Agile is more like a leader? What do you think is the difference? Why am I saying this? Anyone could tell me? What am I saying? Agile is more like a lead, Agile is more like a leader, and traditional is more like a boss. Come on, make a guess. What do you think? Niraj.
Yes, sir.
What do you think, mate?
Traditional project manager mostly force the co-workers to deliver the work fast, but nowadays the project manager themselves will work on it and acts as a leader, so that they can so that the co-workers can follow what the leader is doing, something like that.
Thank you very much for your view. Anyone else could add to that?
Maybe because a leader can guide you to do like the tasks instead of like just making you do it.
I actually like that. It's all about guiding. Guys, in traditional project management, the project manager is like the boss. The project manager usually tells people what to do. We need to do it this way. We need to do it this way. So it's basically not, entrusting people to go and make the decision. It's about making the decision themselves and telling people what they need to go and do to be able to get the job done. In agile project management, the person in charge of the team is not really a manager. We call him a scrum master or an agile leader, and that agile leader is more, the job is to go and not tell people what to do, but it's exactly what Giovanna have said. It's about guiding them. It's about they basically have to find a solution for a particular problem. You don't tell them what the solution, you guide them, you help them, you try to basically help them question and answer the right question to be able to come up with the right solution. But you do not tell them what the right solution. You do not tell them we have to do it this way. You just simply guide them to be able to help them to go and really reach the right outcomes. This is really a big difference in terms of traditional project management and agile project management. When I talk about an agile manager, I need to be very good at communicating with everybody inside and outside my team. I need to be a diplomat to be able to go and really deal with a lot of disagreements that tend to go and happen from time to time between various people. I need to go and be able to listen to everybody and trying to go and solve those problems accordingly. Through that listening, I need to be able to go and analyze the data that is available there, and trying to go and provide people with the guidance that is needed to be able to go and try to find the right solution. So you need to bear in mind, why is agile great for the customer? Because customers don't care about having the best tools and they don't want better project management. They simply want to make sure you are better at delivering what they want. They don't care if you have the best approach to project management in the world. What's the point of having the best approach to project management if they have not really got what they want? It makes no sense. All the agile tools, all the techniques exist only so that they can help us to go and ensure we're going to go and deliver to the customers what they want. Use whatever technique that help you to go and get the results. Don't get to attach on we need to do it this way or that method or this approach. We don't really care too much about that. Let's go and give exactly what the client really is asking. The ends are much more important than the means. It's about ensuring we are getting to the client what they want. That's much more important than simply using the best, more robust, agile project management approach that does not deliver what the client really wants. So that's, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the first chapter I would like to go and talk about. Now, I want to go and talk about the next chapter, which is about chapter 3, managing for success. So it's about really understanding the agile team and agile project management. But let's just go and look at that chapter now. And what I'm going to do now, after we finish that chapter, we're going to start talking about particular activities you need to be working on individually, not individually, as a group, to be able to go and really answer your your group assignment and do the job. But it's very important you do them one step at a time. You follow my steps as I'm telling you to be able to ensure that those activities will be completed and ready to go and be incorporated as part of your group assignment. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to be talking about the second chapter. So we're going to talk about the agile development cycle versus a traditional development cycle, or how is that different? And it really relates to the picture I showed you earlier about the agile project management, how there's a cycle before we release things out to the client. I'll discuss that a bit further. We're going to talk about the agile teams. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the traditional project management approach concentrates on very clear upfront planning for the entire project. So if I am going to be building a house, we are going to be creating a whole planning for the whole house from the beginning. We need to have a high degree of predictability to be effective. We need to be able to go and predict how much each item is going to go and take, the duration and so on. We need to be able to collect all the requirements from the client from the beginning, and we need to be able to use all of this information to be able to go and really plan what are we going to be delivering towards the end of the actual the project. So you start from the beginning and send all the requirements from the beginning, and then towards the end you provide something that is ready and completed based on initial requirements. So that period it could be after a year, it could be after 6 months, depending on how long is the duration of the project. We go and give to the client the particular things we said we are going to go and be delivering to them. In Agile, it's a bit different. I don't deliver the whole thing at once. I do things in an incremental manner. So I might come and give them the first room, the second room, the third room, the fourth room. And then after that, I might give them the stairs, and I might then give them the second room upstairs, and then the third room upstairs, and then the fourth room. So you give them things on an incremental sort of manner. We have that iterative cycle. It goes, between 2 and 4 weeks. And every cycle, I am actually giving the client something that works. So in a software development perspective, it means that instead of giving you the whole software ready to go after I develop the whole thing at once based on your initial requirements, it just means I will give you things in modules. Let's say there's 10 modules. I'll give you the first module, then I'll give you the second, then the third, then the fourth. So we basically give them one after the other as the period goes and really progresses. So it really relies on incremental, iterative development cycles for us to be able to go and really complete the project. We'll do it, slowly, gradually, to give the client what they want. It's ideal for exploratory projects where we might not know the requirements very clearly from the beginning. So we are trying to go and explore all of these requirements, and we basically going to test whether a particular requirement is going to be appropriate. We focus a lot on collaboration between the project team and the customer's representative, because we want to make sure we are delivering what the customer wants at any point of time. And we want to make sure we are going to be creating the adjustments that are going to go and really be needed for the client. So in a traditional project management approach, we go, this is what we call finish to start relationship, finish, start, finish, start, finish, start, finish, start. The concept phase, we finish the concept, and then we come and do the requirements. We finish the requirements, and then we do the design. We finish the design, and then we do the construct. We finish the construct, and then we do testing. We finish the testing, and then we do the whole deploying. So we do it one step at a time to be able to go and get the job done. But if we go and look at the traditional versus the agile project management, traditional, I need to know what is my design from the beginning. In Agile, my design is going to be continuous. If things change, if the requirements change, if what people need change, we will go and actually make the adjustments according to all of those changes. In traditional, I talk about the fixed scope. We're not going to change what you want, Mr. Customer. There's, it'll be much more difficult to go and change in the traditional project management than it is in Agile. In Agile, we are more flexible. We are flexible to go and make the adjustments and try to think about, the stuff that are needed at any particular point of time. When I talk about deliverables, What about the deliverables? In traditional, we're talking about particular deliverables that we're delivering for them. In Agile, we're talking about a feature. What is the feature? What is the requirements? That is basically being, they want us to go and deliver. In traditional, we're going to go and freeze design as early as we can. In Agile, no, let's go and allow design to go and keep on being adjusted as late as possible, because that's basically what the client really goes and wants. In traditional, it's low uncertainty because we know exactly, we've planned it, we know the risk, we know what they're asking and so on. But in Agile, it's high uncertainty because we allow for requirements to go and change accordingly at any point of time. We we avoid change in traditional project management. We embrace change in non-agile project management. We have low customer interaction in agile. In traditional project management, we have high customer interaction in agile project management. We allow the customer come and speak to me, tell me what they want, and so on. In traditional project management, it's conventional project teams. In agile project management, we have a self-organized team. They decide how to do things. They're not being told by a manager how they need to go and do any particular outcome. They decide as a group how things need to go and really be done. And that's really another thing that basically allows us to go and make some comparisons again between what we are asked to do, in terms of comparisons between PMBOK and Agile. But obviously, there's a lot of research you need to go and do to enable you to go and even reach that particular point. Now, if I go and continue further, if you go and see in traditional project management, there's an initiation phase, there's a planning phase, there's executing phase, there's a controlling phase, there's a closing phase. You see how each phase basically it's like one phase of each. There's not more than one phase. It's one phase of each in the traditional project management activity. And obviously the activity starts increasing and all the way at the end, we basically finish the project and all of those requirements. But in agile project management, the way we operate is different. We don't have only one of each. We have many of each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Again, you see, there's initiation, blue, another initiation, another initiation. So you see how, there's planning, planning, planning. There's executing, executing, executing. So there's closing at the end. But what you see is there are sprints. There's a sprint 1. I'm doing all of these items. There's sprint 2. There's sprint 3. So we basically go and continue with that process. It's like a continuous, repetitive process during which we're expected to go and deliver a particular outcome to our clients. In Agile, we have the stakeholders, business stakeholders that have a stake in that project that we're trying to go and work. They will go and tell the product owner or the business owner, they will tell them what sort of features they would like to go and really have. Those product features are really prioritized, and not simply by the owner, but the owner might actually ask for the help of the Scrum Master in terms of, they will work together with the product owner and the Scrum Master, and they will work with a business owner who would like, particular things. They would come and they will help each other in the prioritization of all of those items. And development team is about basically going and working on delivering that requirements that are basically being told to us by the business owner. And there are people who actually help the Scrum team, which are subject matter experts. We might need people with a particular knowledge. So we go and speak to all of those people. We get their knowledge. We ask them to tell us about or advise us on any particular topic to be able to help us on ensuring we are going to be delivering the outcome that is needed. But if I go and think about this, Scrum Master here, what is the job of the Scrum Master? They work very well with these people here. The Scrum Master assists the product owner with creating the backlog and maintaining the backlog and creating the details for it. They also work with the Agile team to define when is a sprint completed. And when I say when is a sprint completed, the only way we're going to go and know whether a sprint is completed is if we're going to go and really get a criteria of done to be identified. We need to go and get to a stage where we need to have a clear criteria of what does it mean when we go and say that a particular outcome has already been done. It's remove all of these stumbling blocks, because there are so many things that might go and actually slow our progress. And it's about really know about all of those things. It's about knowing how are we going to be managing all of these particular items that could actually make us unable to go and really achieve the progress we would like to go and achieve. So it is about really identifying what could go wrong and working to be able to go and ensure that we are managing that particular thing that could go wrong, to ensure it's not going to go and affect us in terms of our ability to go and deliver the project. And sometimes these, people that could stop us from getting the job done could be people inside the organization or outside the organization. That person facilitate the team's self-organization. They will organize in a particular manner. They will decide how the job needs to be done. Not not us. We don't need to tell them how they need to work. They are able to go and decide how they can go and really get the job to be completed. They help in the development team follow the Scrum process, and they should understand. If I'm going to go and tell them how they need to go and follow the Scrum process, I need to be able to go and understand the agile project management structures, and I need to be able to go and be a mentor and a junior, mentor all of these developers, especially new developers, to be able to guide them to become good at providing the work that needs to go and really be done. As a Scrum Master, guys, spend a lot of time, spend the sprint making. The Scrum Master should spend the sprint, the rest of the development team as productive as possible. So it's about really comparing that the team members are actually working in the most productive manner and are ensuring that the job that they needed to go and be doing is actually being done the way they needed to go and really be doing it. A lot of times you have one Scrum Master that works with more than one team. That's really a problem there. When one Scrum Master is basically guiding more than one team. What will happen is you might have development teams lack of access to the Scrum Master, because if that Scrum Master needs to go and ensure he is available or she's available to work across 3 teams, then you're not going to have enough hours of engagement by that particular Scrum Master. So one of the issues of having one Scrum Master to be able to go and manage multiple teams. Scrum Master's ability, to help others. The Scrum Master might have a very good expertise to go and work on one particular domain that one of the teams is working on, but they might not have the expertise to be able to work on the other domains where they don't have the expertise that is needed to be able to go and get the job done. There's time wastage. Every single morning, the Scrum Master needs to meet the team, and they need to try to answer a number of questions, including, what they worked on today, what they're working on, what they worked on yesterday, what they're working on today, and what is really blocking all of their progress. So this is the sort of issues to really go and bear in mind. Time wastage might go and actually occur. If the Scrum Master have to go and attend to 3 meetings, and instead of communicating to people directly and immediately about the work that they need to go and do, imagine the Scrum Master have to go and do the first meeting, the second meeting, the third meeting, and only after finishing all 3 meetings, which is an hour by itself, then I could go and try to start communicating with the right team members to tell them about the work that they need to go and do. There's a lot of waste of time and less of effort there, and that's really something to go and really bear in mind. So we don't want to waste any of the particular time that will happen if you're having one Scrum Master across more than one team. Killing the notion of self-organizing and team locus of control, resulting in development teams' lack of ownership. So if I'm going to go and as a Scrum Master tell everybody else what they need to do and how they need to go and operate, then in reality, I am no longer someone who is in control and someone who's basically having ownership for my own work and ensuring the job is actually being completed. fixing problems by moving people across development teams, destroying cohesiveness. If I have 3 teams and one person is not working very well in that team, well, it could basically be an issue because although they might not be working the best way possible, they might be cohesive, they might have friendship in that particular team, and the scrum master will say, you know what, it's not a problem, I'm going to move that person, put them in another team. But that's really not the best solution. That basically would drive a lot of issues, especially if if that person will go when he moved to the new team, if they don't get along with those people working across that other team. You need to have proper agile team member dynamics. What is that? Well, to be able to go and think about the good agile dynamics, we need to go and really think about major issues that we must consider to be able to go and really deliver all of those dynamics. We need to think about the differences between agile and classical development team structures and dynamics. We need to think about a lot of geographical differences that might exist. For example, not geographic, generational differences, which are, for example, the old software engineers versus the new software engineers. How am I going to go and get all of those people to go and work together? We need to think about other differences and changes. For example, we might be talking about people who are from various cultures, people who are diverse. How are we going to go and create an environment where we are actually valuing those cultural differences and diversity? And we're going to need to go and think about creating all of these virtual team dynamics. In other words, sometimes you might be working with people who are, in other areas. You might be working with them in a virtual manner. How am I going to go and create a way for me to collaborate with all of those people by us working in those particular virtual environments? Now, I'm going to be talking about each one of these aspects now and discuss them. What do they mean? The first thing to bear in mind is about the differences between agile teams and classical development team structures and dynamics. The way we operate in a traditional project management is totally different to the way we are actually operating in the agile project management. So if I go and think about one of the differences is about the teams. The teams in agile project management, they are self-organizing. They decide how things need to go and get done. They don't need anyone to go and tell them you need to work in one particular manner or the other. This is really different to how we are operating in non-agile teams. In non-agile teams, what's going to happen is you are having all of these teams being told exactly what they need to go and do. They are directed by managers and told you need to be working in a particular manner. In agile teams are cross-functional. So all the skills that we need for a job to go and be completed, we have people from all of the skills already working, already part of that particular group that I would like to go and really work on. In the non-agile teams, we might be having, various teams and sub-teams that have specialized skills, and we might even go and try to really rely on people from external expertise to be able to go and come and work and help us to be able to go and get the job to be completed. All team members are called developers, regardless of the work they do in Agile, or we call them otherwise Scrum teams. But in the non-agile teams, we call them specific titles, programmer, senior programmer, project manager, tester, architect, to basically be a bit specific. When I talk about the recommended team size, 5 to 12 in agile project management, but if I go and talk about, the non-agile, we don't have any really recommended size. Sizes could go and really be different. When I go and talk about, agile, there is no longer a manager that leads a team from the front. You don't have to go and tell people what to do. The management role is simply to go and facilitate people's ability to be able to get the job done. But in non-agile, there is a manager who directs and tell people, do this, do this, do this. So it's a bit of a different concept of how the job needs to go and really be done. All functions for sprint development, planning, estimating, coding, releasing are done by the team. But if you go and think about the non-agile team, it's basically done by the manager. So it's different. Knowledge and power are collocated throughout the team, creating their own center of authority. If I have all the knowledge that I need, and if I have all the ability to make decisions to solve the problems, then I really have everything I need to be able to go and get the job done. And that's really different from non-agile. Knowledge and power are located within management. Okay, so you want something done, you need to get to management, get their approval, and that's a lot of times in traditional project management create a lot of delays and slows us in terms of getting the job that we need to go and be done. Finally, the responsibility and attachment are shared as a wall within a team in terms of agile, and the responsibility and commitment are attached only to a single job for a project and a sub project. So you might have a project manager who is responsible rather than saying, well, you are having the whole project team or agile team to be able to go and really be responsible. So these are some differences between the traditional project management and agile project management. We speak about generational differences. I might be 90 years old, someone might be 50 years old, and we are from different generations. We think differently, we act differently. And what we need to go and do as if I'm the agile manager, I need to go and create an environment that fosters respect between various people. I need to go and respect people. If they are old, I need to respect them. If they are young, I need to go and respect them. They need to respect me, and I need to go and respect them. Let's go and try to create some environments where there's a brainstorming sessions, at the beginning of the project, so that we can actually understand all of those differences and finding ways for us to be able to go and really work together across all of those differences. Let's go and have allow very free form thinking between the team to come up with all of these innovative ways of solving any particular problem. We don't need to tell them something. They can basically go and decide what is the best way for them to be able to go and really solve any particular problem. So we need to go and bear all of these things in mind to be able to go and ensure the job is going to be completed accordingly. But bottom line is we need to go and respect that people might be different. They might have more knowledge than us, and it's about how do we go and respect all of those differences and appreciate them and trying to make it work for our benefit rather than be against us. Let's go and try to get all of those people to be able to work well with each other to get the job done. We talk about diversity and inclusiveness, and we talk about virtual team dynamics. A lot of time we need to go and be working with people in a virtual environment, people in various geographical locations. How do we go and really work well together to be able to go and get the job done? So agile managers can facilitate geographically diverse virtual team and still can create a great extent an atmosphere of collaboration. I worked in agile teams which were located in various locations. We had people in Melbourne, people in Sydney, and people in the United States, and we were working well together. We were collaborating, we were having meeting together, and we were able to really go and get a good knowledge and good sharing that was basically happening between all of us in an appropriate manner. So we can really go and find a way for us to be able to go and work together to be able to get the job done. But it's about really creating that way of working in virtual environments to be able to go and get the job done. Another thing is diversity and inclusiveness. We need to basically allow to have people from diverse streams, from diverse teams, from diverse backgrounds, from diverse beliefs, and we need to be inclusive and allow all of those people to be joining us as part of the work, regardless of where they are, what they think, what they feel, any of that. So another very, very important things in agile project management is, allowing that diversity, allowing that inclusiveness to be able to go and ensure we're going to get the job to go and be completed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to go and get to the stage where I need you to go and be working on various activities that are related to your group assignment. And that's very important to ensure that every member of your group are going to be engaging in all of those activities, because, you know, while we have maybe another hour and a bit, it's about, you know, building your knowledge step by step about the things you need to go and do to be able to go and get the job done. So you need to, first thing I want you to go and open this website. So open this website. I'm going to give you a minute. And if please message your team members if you're the leader, and tell them to go and make the same thing. So please open the website slack.com. And I need you to go and create a login on that website. Probably take you around 3-4 minutes. So basically, if you want to know how you need to go to slack.com. You need to try to sign in. If you don't have a login, you need to basically, you need to go and create a login. You can create an account here, and then you'll be able to put your details. And then once you basically, log in, you'll be able to go and start adding your team members. So for me, for example, if I go and try to log in, I should be able to go, I'll be able to go, I've created the groups called Koi Agile Team. And in that Koi Agile Team, I am able to go, just waiting for it to log in. Once I'm actually go and log in there, I am able to go and really invite people. So you see all of those people, you can actually, add people to any particular task. So if I hit for example, if I create here or, whatever, I recommend you create a channel, because you need to create a new channel of communication. So once you basically there, I want you to go and create your own channel. You might say it, name it Koi, I don't know, whatever you call it, ICT, project management, I don't know, T3 2021, whatever description you want, you then create it. Once you go and create that channel, you'll be able to add specific people to that channel. For me, I can add all of those people that I've already added earlier. I can add them, and then I have all of those people here. And once I have them, I'll be able to go and say, all right, and I could choose who I would like to go and communicate with at Fadi Kutub. Okay, did you create user stories? So this is where any communication I go and do will go to the team members in terms of the work that needs to go and be done. And they will get it basically delivered directly to their email. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Got it. Yeah.
All right, excellent. So once you go and create that login, I need you to share the login with the group leader, which I believe many of you have already done. Once you do that, the group leader needs to go and add every one of those team members. They need to actually be added to that. They need to go and be added to that particular area, so that we can see all the work that basically has been done there. So please just make sure you go and create that activity and you finish it if you haven't already really done so. Have you guys created your first communication yet? I know you've added your team members. Could you please try to communicate with each other, make sure it's working for you guys? Because that's the first thing you need to do in terms of this Agile project management assignment, is we need to go and make sure you need to be making a lot of the communication for the Agile project management side using the Slack tool, which means all of those, all of these pictures will need to go and be added to the assignment that you are going to be submitting to me. And I'll show you some sample a bit later, but it's very important you go and really, start communicating to make sure everyone could communicate. So please have a go. And once you can communicate, just confirm that you were able to send your first communication. All right, now guys, we're going to continue with the next item. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to go and actually try to look at those particular questions, this question particularly. I want you to go and think about what is Kanban and how does it really relate to Agile project management. Again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and actually open the breakout rooms, and I would like you to go and really work on that particular activity. But I'm not going to give you a lot of time. I'm simply going to give you 3 minutes for that activity now to be able to get a response for that. And then we'll be able to go and get to the next activity I would like you to go and really work on. So let me go and open those breakout rooms now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I gave you this activity. What is Kanban? Can anybody tell me what is a Kanban?
It's like a framework.
Okay.
Used for implementation, like, you know, some softwares like DevOps in the real-time communication.
Okay. There is, okay, it is really helps in communication, but there's a bit more to that. What do we put in Kanban? What do we enter there? Anyone else?
Like
what are we displaying in a Kanban card or in a Kanban sort of system?
like you can like allows all members to see like what's going on it, like what work is going on on the placement, like on the platform of the Kanban.
Okay, so basically show people what work is basically going on.
Yeah.
On that system. Okay, great. Thank you very much, mate. Any other groups could add anything? So how does Kanban relate to Agile project management? How does Kanban relates to Agile project management? Giovanna?
I'm not so sure how to answer that, to be honest.
That's okay. That's fine. Anyone else? But I'm glad you make the search. What did the search tell you?
Basically, like what the other guy was saying, that like we can see the progress of the project. We can see like if there is a bug or a critical bug or something like that.
Okay.
And yeah.
So what I want you to really think about the Kanban, I want you to think about it in terms of what I really showed you a bit earlier. I showed you a system. I want you to imagine Kanban being this. What the Kanban does, Kanban basically have a list of all of these things we need to go and do. Like, for example, instead of saying to do, you know, I could go and let's say create here a list at the beginning, and I can say, well, I want to name, you know, I want to create a new, not a board, I want to create a new item or new section here, and I want to name this a backlog. What is a product backlog, guys? What is a product backlog?
It's the list of the tasks.
Okay, so all of these things. Then what can I do with the backlog? I can then try to make them in priority. For example, red might be the top priority. You know, green might be, I don't know, blue might be the low priority. I can go and create all of these labels to clearly see what is the highest priority and what is the lowest priority. And then what I can do, I can then I can go and try to make other changes. I can try to possibly go and say, all right, I'm going to go and create a section called, let's say here, I'm going to go to the end. I can create this list and I can say sprint one, whatever, planning, I don't know, sprint 1. You know, you can create all of these stages, you know, sprint 1, dev, whatever you're going to name them, you know, and then after that, I can start moving things that I'm going to be working on at any particular point of time. So you'd be able to go and really try to make some, you know, moving things. Like I can create here, for example, a card. I could say, I want to go and work on, I don't know, create a login page. That could be my you know, my request, what I need to go and work on. And I then have to basically create some sort of a user story, which I'll show you about in a minute. But we kind of write something, right? You know, create login. What does that mean? You know, what does the user needs to do? Who is the user? So we create something like this. We can say, as a user, I want to do something so that I can do something. So what does that really mean here? If I was to give you an example, let's say the user is, you know, as a, I don't know, as an administrator, for example, as an administrator. So that's the user of your system. There could be many others. I want to go to the login page. Okay, great. Why? So that I can log in to the system and access its content. So you basically divide your user story wiki into 3 parts. And that's very important. You really know that. As an administrator, that's who is going to be using the system. I want to go to the login page. That's what I want to do. So as a user, what do I want to do? I want to do this. Why? So that I can actually do something. And I need to make sure that that something I'm going to do is going to be very, very clear. And then I can create a checklist to kind of see whether the job that we needed to go and do has actually been done. So you might create a checklist and say, check that you can open login page. Great. Check that you can, you know, enter your login details. You know, you can do it like this, and you can then say, all right, you know, let me go, you know, whatever I want to do. But then what you can say, all right, check, you know, check that. Okay, tick. I've already done something. I know that it's been completed. You can see exactly what is done and what is not done. So you basically go and start playing with creating details relating to everything I call the user story. Now, this system here is what I call a Kanban system. So a Kanban board, really. If I go and try to see the Koi team view workspace page, you know, just trying to see, you know, what else. Okay, week 10, T2. So that's really the sort of things. I create a backlog, I create sprint. There's so many ones that I've created throughout the time, but you'll be able to go and see that we can create and access the right board. Yeah, so that's a Koi Kanban board or whatever it is. So, but you basically need to create a board like this now yourself, because that's where you create all the user stories and everything that is basically really relevant. And then you're going to have to create various sprints, whatever, you know, planning, design, develop, testing, sprint 1 complete, sprint 2 design, and so on. You create all of these sprints, and then eventually the sprints are all the user stories that you need to go and deliver to be able to give the client what they want. And the release is what are we going to be releasing to the client once all of this particular work has been done. Does that make sense, guys? Do you have any questions on this, or is that clear?
Clear.
All right, clear. Yeah, so as I said, there's so many boards that I've created to kind of show you how the job gets done. But you know, we went and we spoke about the Kanban. So the Kanban is really to be able to go and create that visual representation, which shows all the work that needs to go and really be completed. But at the same time, it's about really trying to go and you know, it relates to agile project management, because in agile there are all of those features, there are all of this work that we are expected to go and deliver, and it's about how do we go and you know, show what needs to be done. Well, we are basically we are showing all the work that needs to be completed in an agile project management. We've shown it in terms of features on the actual Kanban board. Now, what I want to do now is I would like you to open the website Trello.com, and I want you to create a login. Then I want you to share the login with the group leader. Then the group leader is supposed to create a Kanban board and add the team. Then we need to go and create a backlog and the sprint 1 stages. Now, do me a favor, just take a picture of this page now, because I'm going to put you in your breakout rooms again to be able to work on this activity now. So take a picture of that picture, please, of that activities that I want you to do, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sorry. So whatever we do in the Trello and Slack, do we have to do the screenshot and put it in our
assignment?
project?
Yes, 100%. So all of this work is basically going into your assignment for the Agile project management component. And every single communication relating to Agile project management, no WhatsApp, no nothing at all. Every communication needs to go and be done via Slack, because in real life, you're going to have people a lot of time communicating via the systems, and they basically know what is happening by using the system. No other way. They have everything that they need in front of them straight away. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. Did you guys take a picture of it? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
All righty. I'm going to go back for a second to Trello. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you a board. So there was a board that was, okay, take a picture of that board, because it has a backlog. It has multiple stages of the sprint. So maybe take a picture of this page to kind of see how you need to go and build your sort of stages for your assignment, because you need to create more than one sprint for your assignment. And that's basically you know, something to go and bear in mind here. So take a picture. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you into your breakout rooms, and I am going to be going back to your breakout rooms very shortly. I'm going to give you around 5 minutes before I go to your breakout rooms. I want to see that you started creating those exact things in Trello. I need you to share your screen and show that to me. And I want you to show your Slack with me and show me that you've started creating your first communication on Slack, because all of these need to go directly into your group assignment. So I will give you 5 minutes before I start joining your groups, but please make sure if there's anything you're not sure what you need to do, could you please ask me now? Are you guys sure and understand what you need to do? All right, great. I'm going to put you in your breakout rooms now. Okay, so you're trying to identify the backlog. Don't worry about identifying the backlog yet, because that's something I'm going to be working with you to help you to go and create very shortly. So it's step by step.
Okay.
Go through the activities that I only want you to create at the moment, which is create the logins, create the sub, and then create the stages. You've done all of this?
Yeah, we're doing it.
And as I told you, I want you to name it sprint 1 something, sprint 1, and more than one stage. Maybe use the names that I gave you, because there are many stages we are able to go and create there. And in this way, we will be able to go and ensure we're covering every single item.
Yeah. Product backlogs.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll let you continue. Have you added every team member here?
Yes, they are here.
All right. Great. So what was your question? You were asking a question?
No. Can you show, sir, about the Slack as well that we have created?
Yeah, show me the Show me Slack, please. Thank you.
Oh, the Slack.
Yeah.
There you
Right,
go.
right. So you guys start communicating. Every single member is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of us are.
Do me a favor. Go back and create a channel. So go up here. Yeah. Create a channel and add all your people. Just name it, assignment channel, and then add all your colleagues to that channel.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And once you have that channel, you can add your team members, and then you can make all your communication as part of that channel. And if you're going to make direct messages, that's fine. But it's better if you have one channel where everybody see everybody else's, messages.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to move to the other groups, and then I'll bring you guys back all to the main room. But if you finish what you need to do, you can also, go to the outline, start looking at first, before you even start writing any user stories, you need to be able to go. You need to be able to go and really look at. I need you to go and look at the individual user stories. You need to go and actually go and look at who are the users of that system first. So it's very important we have the users. Who is going to be the user of the system before you go and start, thinking about anything else. We need to know the users of the system to be able to get the right information.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to go to the next group now, and then we'll discuss it further very shortly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how are you? Can you guys hear me?
Sir.
All right. Have you created have you actually went and created that Trello? Could you please show me what you created?
Yeah, we created it.
Can I see it, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Share your screen with me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So can you see?
I can see your screen now. Can you show me your board?
Sir, we just open and we are confused what to do now.
Okay, go to the board.
Board, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, can you see the plus sign here? Go to the plus sign there. Can you see the plus sign on the other side? On top.
Oh, yes.
Yep. Click on that, create a board.
Yeah.
Name that your board, whatever you want to name it, call your assignment board.
Okay. Create board now.
Yep. And then there, you'll have a board. Then you can name all of these stages. You know how I showed you the picture of the stages? But
Yes,
before you
sir.
create the stages, just go to the person on the top right-hand corner, the person symbol. Then the top right-hand corner.
Beside the press, yeah.
Yeah, the person's, no.
No,
Top.
beside the plus.
Yeah, beside the plus, next to that. On top. Yeah, on top. There's a human being. Yeah, click on that.
Corner. Yeah.
You need to add
Yes, sir.
your team members to that. Click on it.
Yeah.
You need to add your team members. So where are your team members? Have they logged in? Okay, press on the invite.
Yeah, logged in.
Okay, press on the invite section. Just close that.
Okay.
Okay, close that. Can you see the invite on top of the done?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, click on that, invite your people. Yeah, if their name is here, you should be able to just add their name.
Already logged in, sir.
If you're already logged in,
Yeah, already
click on
logged
that.
in.
That's it. So you need to add all of those people. You need to create all of the stages as I showed you in the picture.
Okay.
Okay, and the names that I've basically used. Now, can you show me Slack?
My Slack one. Okay.
I want to see that you guys have started your first communication. Okay, did you create a channel?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Project management.
Yeah, no, the channel. Okay, close it for a sec. Yeah, you see how there are channels?
Yes, sir.
Did you create a channel under that?
No, sir.
Create a channel and then add your team members to that channel.
Okay, I got it now.
Great. I'm going to go to the third group and I'll then bring you all together so that we can go with the next stages. But meanwhile, once you finish, please go and check if you can basically identify all the users that are going to go and be working on that system. So please look at all the users and make sure you highlight who is the user of that system. So,
sir, how can she add me? Like I already, like, I already signed in, but how can she add me? Just need to click the invitation link.
Yeah, she need to basically invite you and then add your name there.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Yep.
All good?
All good, sir.
All right, I'm going to go to the third group. Thank you very much, guys. Hey, guys, can I please see your Kanban board?
Yeah, we are working on it.
Okay. Why didn't you create a new one? Why did you try to use one that is existing? It's better if you create a new one.
Yeah.
Go to the plus sign, go to the top on the right-hand corner on the top.
Yeah.
And the right-hand corner.
There. Here, this one?
On top, yeah. Create a board.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay, and then starting.
Yeah, just add the board details.
How do I do this?
Just whatever you would like to name it. Just make it make it,
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Okay. Create
it. And then you know how I told you about various stages?
Okay, yes.
Name the stages as I showed you. Okay. And I need you to go and do the invite. Can you see the invite section on top of the GA? No, the other side in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, invite, yes.
Yeah, you need to invite your team members.
Okay.
Okay. Now, once you do that, just send them an invite so that they can be in as part of that group. Yeah. The other thing is, can you show me your Slack for a second, please?
Yeah. Can you see? No.
No, you need to share another screen.
Great. Share.
No sweating. Okay. Did you create a channel? You see how there's a channel?
Yes, that's the channel. Project.
So you're perfect. And you've added your team members to the channel?
Yes.
All right, that's very good. So you're doing that correctly. I'm going to give you a few more minutes to guys finish, and then I'm going to bring you all back to the main room, okay?
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Well done. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Yes, go on.
I'm sorry, I was just talking with my friend.
Okay, that's okay. Guys, welcome back. What you've done so far today is I helped you to go and create the logins that are going to be needed for your engagement and for every information you need to go and show as part of your assignment. So we need to go and ensure you are doing the right communication, and all the communication for the assignment needs to go via the channels that I helped you to go and really create. And at the same time, every single information relating to the user stories and the features that we need to go and create needs to go and be done as part of Trello. Now, if I was to go and really show you something that is related, I'm going to show you an assignment that was done in previous sessions. And that assignment that got 32 over 35, because that assignment used to be on, worth 35. But if I was to go and show you, you see obviously the cover page, and I'll discuss on things a bit more further, but I want to go down. You will see that there's many sections. There's obviously the PIM book section, which is the question 2 I'm asking about. There's an agile section. That's, the other question, second question. And then you go and have the comparison, some comparison ethical considerations. The questions are different. I always change them, but you can see that the sections are very similar. You can see so many tables and figures. You can see so many, all of this information available. You can see how they applied the traditional project management here first. And that's what I've been telling you to go and work on for many, many weeks. I showed you so many structures, I showed you charters and so on. And, you know, there's all of these things, you know, planning, work breakdown, structure. This is everything I've been teaching you, you know, work breakdown, structure, Gantt charts, project budget. We've been talking about all of these topics week after week. Risk assessment, all of these topics are things we've been discussing. So this is what you need to go and make sure you show me as part of your assignment. Now we're going to go to something different. We're going to go to agile project management. And you see, I'm going to go all the way down. You see, I just set up Slack for you. You can see here that this is Trello. You can see how they're doing the same thing. They're showing, you know, first thing they're showing that they created all the user stories and, you know, all the backlog if you want. And then they start showing me other stuff. They show me the stages, which is what I told you to set up. And then they start showing me how, you know, things move. They show me that there's more than one sprint. They show me how, you know, things move to the sprint backlog so that we can work on a particular items in the sprint. They show me how things move, you know, from the backlog. They show me some of these. Look at here, you know, whatever it's called, the user management login creation feature. Where's that? User management login creation feature. You click on that. They're trying to insert more details, acceptance criteria to show us that, you know, a product has been delivered. They're showing us how things move across various stages, you know, backlog, in progress. They show us how things eventually go and get completed, you know, in progress, in review. So they're showing us how things move across various stages, all the way until we go and get something to be done and completed, to mean the sprint has been done, so the work has been completed. And they're showing us who's doing what and the priorities and so on. So that's the sort of things you need to go and do as part of your sprint. You need to show me stage by stage how things need to go and be progressing. And you need to go show me obviously multiple sprints. And you need to, again, there's communication. You need to show me all of this communication here. Just trying to see, this is all the group communication. I didn't show it, I deleted it because I didn't want to show names, but all their Slack communication basically was here. They show me all of these figures of their Slack communication, and you need to really go and show me the same thing as part of your work in terms of the group communication. Now, I need to go and really go to the next point, which is what you need to go and do. And especially now when you're going to go home this week, you need to read your assessment and identify the system users. In other words, who are the people who are going to be using the system? That is really the first step you need to go and do. So when I go and say, you have this assignment, and when I go and say, go and read that assignment and what they're requesting in that assignment, you can see all of these features. You can see all of these things they want us to go and do, the outcomes. You can see the modules they want to be created. Now, who is going to be using all of these modules? Well, that's the first thing you need to go and think about. You need to think, who is going to be the user of my system? If you don't know who is going to be the user of your system, you won't be able to really go and really understand, you know, anything just yet about that information. But you need to really look at that first, because player details. Okay, who needs to see the player details? Can anybody tell me, who do you think needs to be a player details? Who do you think?
Coach.
A coach. Yeah, absolutely. So you need a user called what?
Coach.
Coach. Okay, and you need to define who that user is, because you need to be able to create logins relating to that particular user who is going to be the coach for that particular team. So that's one thing you need to bear in mind. You know, do we need an admin person, for example?
Yes, we need an admin.
No worries. We need to track sponsors and advertising. Okay, so you know, so who's going to be doing this? What do you reckon?
Manager,
or maybe even marketing person, as a marketing person. you know, whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you, you know, you need to basically make that decision. You need to go and read the assignment. You need to decide who is going to be using what, you know, who are the users of the system before you're going to then go and actually create, you know, other items such as what we call the user story. So you need to go and really go and read your assignment. You need to understand who are the system users. Then you need to create user stories relevant to each user. User stories are basically the features that we need to go and really work on and deliver for our clients. Then we need to create the acceptance criteria relevant to each user story we write. In other words, how do we know that the user story we delivered is completed and that people are happy with what we actually went and delivered? You know, they need to be from the beginning in acceptance criteria. How do you know that something is done? You need to have a checklist. And finally, if you have finished, you need to start identifying other practices to work on for the group task. So this is something that, you know, we're not having a lot of time to go and work through this week, but every week I try to give you a bit of time. We started doing on a few things, but what I want you to go and do is I want to show you this assignment, because I want to show you what these people have done there so that you can have an idea about what I want you to do. The first step they've done in Agile, what do you think is the first step they've done? What do you think the first step they've done? What do you think?
Creating backlog.
Backlog.
Okay, how do you create a backlog? What do you need to know? What do you need to know before you create the backlog?
What's the project goal?
Okay.
That we can list the thing.
That's correct.
WBS.
Okay, let's go back here. What's one thing you really need to know to be able to create a backlog?
Work breakdown structure.
No. Remember, work breakdown structure is traditional project management. There's no work breakdown structure in Agile. It's different. It's totally different concept.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So what do we need to know? It's in front of you. There's something we need before we create a backlog. What is it?
Requirements.
Read in front of you. Read again slowly. And tell me. It's not
user.
You need to find who are the users. That is the first thing we need to do. If we don't know who the users are, we are not really able to go and really create those other items that we would like to go and really create. So you need to identify who are going to be your users. That's the first thing we need to do. And then you can create your product backlog. So I want to go and show you in that assignment the sample, and I'll be sharing with you guys more work down the track. If you go and see, guys, you'll be able to see down here, the first thing they've done is they define the users. Okay, now this is a totally different assignment, so you won't find anything the same, but it's a super user, and they defined who the super user is. What does that mean as a super user? So they kind of defined something like this. Coordinator, they defined what a coordinator is. So, and then after they define the users, then they write user stories. So as a super user, let's go up. Oh, I have someone here called a super user. So I'm creating a story about how the Mr. Super user going to be using my system. Volunteers, coordinators, let's go and look here. You know, as a volunteer, okay, as a coordinator. You see, they're using those names to create something. Now, remember when you're going to write the user stories, because everybody makes it wrong, you need to do the 3 things I'm telling you as a user. So you need to tell me who the user is. You need to tell me what do they want to do. Okay. So this one here, I want to create a login based on the user type, and so that they are able to log into the app. So there's a reason. So, you know, who is the user? What does the user want to do? And why does the user want to create any particular work. So that information is very important to go and really be created for the job to go and be done appropriately. If we don't do that, that information, something is going to be missing. And now you can see, if you go and read this, it's saying, as a super user, I want to create something to get something. And what's the acceptance criteria? As a super user, okay, what's the first thing? The super user is able to create, to access a form to create a new login, great. Able to go and fill in basic user and login details, okay, great. Able to select the user access type based on a selected role. So you can see very specific criteria, which to verify that that story or that feature has been completed, we need to have some sort of criteria where we check, does this done? Was this done? Was this done? And if they are done, that gives us evidence that the job has been completed. Does that make sense? Are we clear?
Yes.
All right. Now that's really the beginning of that assignment. But as you've seen, we kind of went vroom, like into a lot of details relating to that assignment. And what I would basically say is, we're going to go and go into much more details as we move, as the weeks basically start moving. But what I'll also be doing is I'll be basically trying to potentially, if you can see here, I'll just show you here so that you will know that what is available. Switch role to student, and if I show you down here, guys, you'll be able to see that I created 3 sample assignments available there for you. They are there here for a reason, because I want to try to give you some kind of a structure, some guidance on what other people done previously. And you can see here, this is really the system users. You can see those definitions that I'm telling you about. You can see information available on Moodle that you will be able to go and use to be able to go and start working on your assignment. So there are sample assignments available there for you. There's no joking. It's a very, very big assignment. And if anyone hasn't started, it is already too late. But you need to really start working very hard. So anyone who's not serious in your group, you need to kind of put them back in line very, very quickly. Get them to start focusing on the work that needs to go and be done. But this is really the task that I want you to start working on. And as we start moving along every week, I'll start basically telling you, okay, show me what you've done. Show me if you have any question, and I'll try to give you guidance in terms of what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. But the 3 basic things: define the users, write the user story in the right format, and you write the acceptance criteria appropriately. These are the 3 things now, which is what I basically listed for you here in front of you. They're very, very clear. Nothing is hidden. That's what you need to go and do. Do you have any questions for me about what I expect you to go and be doing this week as a group? And not simply this, but also if you can work on the earlier parts, PIM book project management. If you haven't done that, this is where you create the work breakdown structure. I want to make sure that you guys are doing that work too. Any questions at all? Is there anything I'm explaining not clear for you? You all happy?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right, guys. Please review the lecture slides, tutorial materials, notes you've taken. Today's tutorial materials is simply about those activities that we're doing in the tutorial. These are, writing the user stories, and this is really exactly what the tutorial is going to be for the next few weeks, because it's about helping you to go and build your assignment. And there's chapters 1, 2, and 3, which I've explained, and there's your group assignment that you need to go and be working on. That is worth 40%. It's not a small mark. It's a very, very big mark. You do it wrong, it's a big issue. I want to say thank you very kindly for all your hard, for all your time, all your effort, all your hard work. I always say I care about you. I repeat that every time, and I hope you guys feel that I'm basically not simply here to go and rush you, but to try to give you everything from my knowledge to help you to go and really get the best outcome. So I care about you. I want you to do well. Please work hard, and if any of your team members are not focusing, please get them to go and focus, because I want everyone to do very well in this assignment, and I want everyone to pass the subject. Thank you very much, guys, and I look forward to see you again next week. Thank you.